Imagine that it is the day of your college graduation. After 4 years of grueling lectures, exams, projects, people stealing your usual seat in class, you little pieces, you finally made it and received that piece of paper that says, yes, I went through all that. You, your family, and friends celebrate at a nice restaurant, and you feast. Come the next day, and you get a letter in the mail. It's from the school, and it reads,
Dear student, unfortunately we must inform you that your graduation doesn't count due to insignificant amount of credit because you failed one of your classes last quarter. So you are not done yet, my boy. You don't get to go to VidCon. All because of me. So I will see you in summer school. Best regards, the bane of your existence, Geography 100.
It's a bit embarrassing to tell this story, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of judgment from the other side of the screen, like, what a loser, how you almost failed geography. And I will be explaining why. So first, let's talk about how I got into Geography 100. I didn't want to work too hard during my last quarter of college, and since I finished all my major classes, I only needed to take 3 electives, which could basically be anything I wanted. This was supposed to be a quarter of just 2 days of school, and the rest is just sleeping, Netflix, and working on that long overdue video. I had 2 classes picked already, but for my last one, I figured it would be a good choice to do an online class, and using a very nifty little website called ratemyprofessor.com, I narrowed down my choices to 2 introductory, therefore easy classes. Music 100, and Geography 100. You already know which one I chose. Which honestly, had I known about my impending turmoil, I seriously would have just gone with Music 100. I mean, for their project, they had to go to a concert. That would have been the perfect excuse for me to go to a BTS, Blackpink, or Red Velvet concert. But no, apparently I wanted myself to suffer because I ended up signing up for Geography. Now, you would think, a project for Intro to Geography, an online course by the way, would be something simple, like pick a country and write about it. That would be super easy. Boom, South Korea. But I guess the professor, whom we'll make a fake name for, Mrs. G, had very high expectations for us as an online class because guess what? We had to do a group project. Oh yeah, because it's totally a good idea to assign a group project to people who have never seen each other or met in person and most likely don't want to, hence why they took an online class. My guess is that this was her first time teaching the course online. She probably thought stuff she did in normal class would work just fine for an online class with absolutely no consequences. So if it wasn't bad enough that it was a group project, as in my grade depended on the competence and ability of others, here's a summary of the assignment. You are given a hypothetical disaster that destroys a country. Your job is to develop a full recovery plan to get that country back on its feet. We were each given to cover one of the sections: medical response, security, infrastructure, and economy. We also need to know the contact information for the people and organizations that would be active during such a time. Oh, and we can't make up any names because they will be quote-unquote verified. Minimum of 5 pages for each section. And that's it. That's literally all we were given to work with. One big project that's worth 40% of our entire grade. So, in summary, oh my, a big disaster. What do you do? It could have been because my brain was in vacation mode due to a lack of hard classes this quarter, but my brain was like, this seems like a lot of work for just an introductory class. What does this even have to do with geography anyway? Like, where do I even start? How do I even start? Maybe I should just quit. Our group ended up getting a country in Africa that got hit by a tsunami, and I was in charge of covering security. It honestly sounded the most interesting, but let's face it, it's not much. But it's better than infrastructure and economy. Now look, there were just a lot of problems with this project. The first one being that it was a group project for an online class. And second was that there was just a huge lack of details in the syllabus, which honestly left me with more questions than answers. Like, I was stuck on what I can and cannot assume about the scenario. How big was the tsunami? How far inland did it travel? Were there any major buildings that got destroyed? Can this hypothetical take place in an alternate universe? I even emailed her asking, hey professor, in this hypothetical scenario, is there by any chance that we could just call Black Panther and Wakanda to help out? I mean, that would solve all of our problems, no need for 5 pages. Wakanda would pretty much just take care of everything. But I guess I should have expected the professor to be a Miss Fuddy-Duddy with no sense of fun, because she replied, no. Besides, Wakanda isn't anywhere near that country. But what is that supposed to mean? Look, lady, this entire hypothetical scenario has just been ridiculous. So I don't think you're in any position to discount such an advanced nation just because they might need to go the extra mile. I did not think very highly of this project. And it wasn't just me either. Other members in my group chat and others were just as upset and confused as to how to do this thing. And maybe it was because a bunch of people, including me, emailed her so many questions, the professor eventually decided to postpone the deadline to week 10 instead of week 8.
Yay, more time to procrastinate.
I was lucky enough to finish mine up, since I got more clarity by asking multiple times via email, and coincidentally, I came upon a very nifty little plan created by professionals that, well, let's just say they had a lot of things that would make my paper really good, so I took it. Eventually, it was coming towards our due date. 10 weeks seemed like plenty of time, and I tried being the good, responsible student that I am by checking up on my group mates in the group chat to, make sure that they're on top of things. Hey guys, just letting you know that the project is due this week. I know this project has been a pain, but let's just get this over with. Smiley face. And they replied, thanks. But the problem is that thanks could literally mean multiple things. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm actually almost done with it. Or, oh, thanks, man. Dude, I totally forgot, but I'm gonna get to work on it right now. Or, thanks. And that's it.
I'm curious if that's gonna be concerning.
We understood that it was due at the end of the week, but neither Mrs. G nor the syllabus specified which day, so with advanced college critical thinking, we came to the conclusion that the paper was due by midnight Sunday. But we will assume Saturday just to be safe, since that's actually the last day of the week. So Friday rolls around. My part was already sent to the other group members so they can assemble it and send it to the professors through email. Oh yeah, and we had to submit it under one file and include a table of contents, which surprise, well more like no surprise, was also not included in the syllabus. I only found that out because I asked her how we should submit it, also whether she was going to check for plagiarism. And then it was like 9:30 p.m. and I got a text message from one of my members and I couldn't believe what it said. Apparently, the project was due by midnight tonight. And some of my members haven't even finished their papers yet. And that's because they decided to wait all 10 weeks to work on the project the day it was due. Well, I guess I know what that thanks stood for. Now, if this was a group project, I wouldn't be panicking because, like I said, I finished my part and it was ready to submit. But the whole grade was dependent on everyone. We still needed to make a table of contents. At this point, I'm not even sure who to be more upset at. On one hand, there's my group mates that decided to do this so last minute. Or there's Mrs. G because she didn't give us a proper official heads up about the day that it was due. She basically waited like an hour before the deadline to email everyone, oh, by the way, the project is due in like 2 hours. And once again, that was only because someone asked her about it through email. And she didn't even send that to everyone.
Hey, Professor, don't you think this is all something that we all should know? Not just this one person? No? Okay.
And then she tried making it sound like it was our fault. Just making claims like, oh no, 4 groups have not submitted their papers yet. Tisk tisk, shame shame. But that really doesn't mean that much when there are only 6 groups in total. 4 groups is like the majority of the class. And those 2 groups that submitted it already probably just finished it earlier that week because they're just a bunch of big nerds. Like, I know. As college students, we should be on top of things, but there needs to be a clearer deadline. Like, don't just say it's due at the end of week 10, because many of us have had classes where that meant Sunday or Saturday. So, I mean, it could have been Friday, but you have to say so. Anyways, back to what happened. 11:45. Still not done. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like cutting things so close to the deadline. Especially with things that are a very significant part of your grade and is the only thing standing between you and graduating. So I think I can afford just to be a little anxious at this point. It was basically starting to look like the worst case scenario. The project will be late, we all fail the project, and since it's 40% of the grade, I will end up getting a D or lower in the class, which isn't passing. Therefore, I won't get the credits for that class. I won't be able to graduate. Forget Psych 311. Forget all my advanced psychology classes and senior seminars. My downfall was going to be this flippin' intro to geography. I was preparing this in-depth essay for the professor expressing my frustrations about the whole thing when suddenly the professor sent another email. So many people must have complained about the late notice of the deadline because she decided to postpone the deadline yet again to the end of finals week. Well, I guess that settles it. It turns out we got full points on the project. My guess is that she too was done with dealing with the project, and it also helped that the grades were due like the next day. So she decided to give us full credit as long as we quote unquote put in the effort. But I don't care anymore, cause I graduated. And to this day, my parents do not know about the possibility that I might not have graduated college. Because I almost failed intro to geography. Until just now. When they watch this video. Surprise! This is the way I see it. Majority of the problems that happened in that class could have easily been avoided if it was just a normal, more simple project, you know? But you guys do have this video, so I suppose it's not all that bad. But anyways, we got a new pin in the merch store. It looks absolutely fabulous. It is so cute of my tofu and tofu ninja just chilling in a nice bowl of sunubu. So if you are interested, be sure to check it out in the description below. I mean, I know if it was me, I would put it on a lanyard, like a VidCon lanyard. And speaking of VidCon, I would like to announce that I will be attending VidCon Anaheim as myself. Yeah, that's right. Which I think is totally fine. Sure, I will have to pay, but I'll just make up my money's worth by getting a bunch of free stuff. Because I'm Asian, and that is what we do. If you want to catch a glimpse of this tofu awesomeness, then please don't be afraid to say hi. I would love to meet you. It'd be amazing. So that's all I wanted to cover in this end card. Thank you all so much for watching, and I may or may not see you at VidCon. But until next time, stay young.